Whoa, we're back from Bleach Soul Resonance, and we have a little bit of just a talking head point today, but I think it is kind of interesting because this is going to be sort of it's going to be like an expectations thing, but also sort of helping with planning, because I think we're going to get into some weird times if this happens to be true. So I saw this post by Flaky Evening, and I don't know where to, grain of salt, they even say take it as a grain of salt. Grain of salt. I do not know where this is listed, but we have two of them here. Kurosaki Ichigo, Double Knife Cutting the Moon. Kurosaki Ichigo, Limited Gathering is open. Agents can use limited drawing coupons for assembly. Can only be obtained in the Limited Gathering card pool, and there is no way to obtain it after the event. We will see that after which it resets, the limited SSR character Okieta Resurrect shown can only be obtained through this limited gacha pool, which will not be available after the event ends. And it's interesting wording because I don't buy that there will literally never be a time where they return this banner. I just don't really think that's going to happen. That said, they have been listing this as a collaboration essentially this entire time. Now, if collaboration really does feel like, you know, in Epic 7, they collabed with Guilty Gear, for example. The Guilty Gear characters come back every so often, but I mean, it's with like a year, maybe more between, you know, returns. I don't even know how long it's been in the current age, right? I do think it's worth remembering, or rather planning around this inevitability, sort of, because we do understand that Nuverse and Shueisha sort of butt heads, a Chinese company and a Japanese company. Sorry, I got a little something in my ear. They seem to be butting heads. So when we are talking about True Shikai Ichigo, Yuryu, who we know is coming, and then possibly two more women who will be SSRs based on their talks, we might be looking at characters that are really difficult to skip or not at least try for dupes on. I'm going to be playing this one close to my chest. I'll probably be pretty stingy, but there are some other bits and bobs here. So there is, I know some people say it just doesn't make sense. It's the same person that an anime collaborating with the same anime franchise. It has to do with the IP ultimately. Everything that Nuverse does is essentially like, you know, reaching out a hand, you know, Oliver Twist style, can I have some more? But I mean, that's just how it goes when you have companies like Korean or Chinese companies like trying to essentially use the IP of a Japanese company for essentially anything. I mean, the Japanese IP law is really stringent, but we did see this, again, grain of salt, like they said, based on the leak. There is a bit here that says some Chinese YouTubers close to the developers said that no weak character will be released during the collaboration. I don't want to look too much more into this leak sort of stuff because it can just be so dicey, and ultimately it's not too enthralling to be like, oh my god, you know, don't look at the leak, but also look at the leak. I really just want to put this forward, and I feel sort of I don't know, I feel like a sort of like duty to put this forward, that there could possibly be a world where these characters do not return. And have we seen that yet in the game? We kind of have. Because Nellel, as good as she's been, if you did not get Nellel, and more importantly, if you did not get Nellel with at least one dupe, this character is so much worse. And if you didn't get her with two dupes, up to 80% crit damage, this character is so much worse. But guess what? She hasn't returned at all. At all. This is our Chinese New Year character, and she has not returned one time. So if you miss this character, you have had no opportunity whatsoever to get a dupe for your Nellel. Right? It's interesting. I mean, can we say that about any other character? Again, the reason I pointed out is that's a major celebration character. The only other major celebration characters we've had are Grimmjow, Okieta, and White Ichigo. So it's the jury's still out on them. We will not know at all until we sort of see that, you know, come to fruition here. But everyone else at this point will have had a return at some point. Toshido has had one. He's a part of the free selector. So is Bankai Ichigo. So has Gin. Zaya Lapido is about to, or is having one currently. Aizen has had 1 billion. Kapachi has had 1. Soy Fun has had 1 with Grimjo, I believe, just immediately. My Yuri is about to have 1. Nelel has not. It's not so much that it's like, oh, this is like a big pattern and, you know, we have to start like doomsaying about whether this character will ever be back or not. But because they have used the specific language that this is a sort of collaborative celebration, you know, celebrating Core 4 releasing very, very soon. I mean, this is really sneaking up on us. I will just say that keep this in mind. Not because I want to worry you that you need to like go all in and spend, but if you were someone who was planning like, oh, I'm not going to B0 this character because I just want to get a B2 in like Yuryu, maybe the biggest Yuryu fan in the world. Keep in mind that you might never really get to use this Ichigo, I mean, at least for a long, long time. Like if they're using that kind of language and they haven't brought Nelel back, and Nelel is much less like, they're probably doing much less to get Nelel into these games than they are to get, you know, True Shikai Ichigo, Yuryu, and these 2 possible other characters pushed up for the release, right? This is a marketing celebration that's about to happen, and they probably expect quite a bit out of it, quite a bit of returns. And if, like I said, if they haven't returned Nelel, and they're probably not going to return the half anniversary characters for a while. I mean, maybe until literally the anniversary is when we might see them for the first time return. Yeah, I just try to be, you know, try to keep it in the back of your mind. Like I said, it's something to be aware of. It's something to be aware of, and I just worry that people will see something like this and just sort of you know, move on, right? I do want to look around here. There's one more. Yeah, someone says right here, right? It's just no way to obtain it again until Shueisha just randomly changes their mind again, which is what I think will happen eventually. They often say the same thing with limited releases. This is also true, but again, it's not quite the same. It could be a translation error. I don't want to put this as like, oh, you should change all of your plans and you should be afraid, but just hoping for a rerun sort of ignores the fact again that we have not seen this character at all. Her right there, she is not shown up at all. And it's not surprising how strong she was and is, especially for the moment she was released in the game, and how little she's rerun. And at this point, we will have seen her be replaced probably before we see her rerun. Is that not crazy? We will have seen Nelel if our predictions are right and the game sort of goes down the path that we're expecting with the 4 characters releasing during this TYBW celebration. We will have seen her be replaced before she got a rerun. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind because it might inform, hey, maybe I do want to grab at least one, like B1. Maybe I do want to go for B2 if I'm just a biggest True Shikai Ichigo or Yuryu fan. Maybe I do want to go B0 on both of them. Maybe I love one of the girls from the TYBW sort of like arc, the, you know, overall arc, and I want to go for one of them. I want to hope that it's Rukia, or I want to hope that it's Yunohana, or sorry, I hit my mic. It's Yunohana or something like that. Maybe you want to go for something like that and get a dupe in them instead. I would just be careful. I would be careful about going too far in on any one banner, unless you're really sure. Like I said, it's interesting. It's interesting. They do say, like I said, I do think that, like I said, it could just be a translation mistake, and it could just be it could just be a translation mistake. It could be anything, but I will just say that it's odd. It's certainly odd. A lot of people are pointing out that it could be translation, by the way. I am looking because, you know, why not give people their credit? You know, a lot of translation stuff say. I just want to sort of like add on that translation mistake or not, there is a character that we're very aware of who has not returned until she has been replaced. So it's just worth saying that you should be very careful because these characters might not return for a while. So maybe going wide and grabbing yourself a B0 copy instead of going like, you know, I'm free to play low spending and I'm going to go to B4 on True Shikai Ichigo immediately. You know, it's weighing your options. You know, that's either the best idea ever because you're just the biggest True Shikai Ichigo fan, or the worst idea ever because now you can't pull for the others and they might not return until they're essentially, you know, useless, right? So it's interesting. Again, not to take the words that they're saying, you know, at complete face value, but more so to say that the only example we have of this so far is Nellel, and we know she has not come back. And the fact that they're treating her somehow with more care than they would be treating TYBW, Yuryu, Ichigo, and then 2 other characters, I don't think so. I don't think Nellel is like that big of a special girl. I don't think so. But, you know, that's going to do it for today. Like the video, subscribe to the club. We all go make it, and peace.